Good day, everyone. Welcome to the Engineer Construction Lecture Hall. Today, I want to talk about something very important as regards to slabs. Okay. Now, today we are going to look at how to determine how to determine how to determine the number the number number of bars in slabs. So that is our topic for today. Now you know that our slab is made up of reinforcement and concrete. Okay. Now when we design our slab, we consider panels. Okay, we consider panels. Now, sorry, we have maybe a panel this way. We have another panel this way. We might have another panel this way. Okay. Now, together, this whole is one slab. Okay, but in design, we consider them separately. We treat them separately. Okay, we treat them separately. So normally in our reinforcement for our slabs it's normally arranged in this format. Okay, the reinforcement are placed center to center. Okay, it goes like this. Okay, this is how it looks practically. Okay, this is how it looks practically. So, but we are going to consider a panel for this class. Okay, so we'll just consider a panel to illustrate how we are going to, calculate for the number of reinforcement for our slab. So, like I said, this is how it looks in reality. This is the mat, the reinforcement mat for our slabs. Okay, but ordinarily we cannot be showing this in this form as in presentation of detailed reinforcement. So instead of having this, we can use one of these to represent. So we can have one like this to represent this vertical reinforcement. Then we can have another one that runs this way to represent this horizontal reinforcement. So this is how it is expected to present in our detailed drawing. Okay, now you see that, for example, we have 6 meters or 6 meter, which is 6,000 millimeter. We have probably 3,000 millimeter here. Okay, we have 6,000. This is 6 meter, 3 meter. So for example, we are doing this reinforcement. This reinforcement is expected to span from here to here. Okay, so we have it this way. We can have Y12, okay, at Y12 bar mark 01, okay, at 150 center to center bottom. Okay, we can have it in this format. Alright, then for this now, we can have it as this. Okay, that is for this now. We can have it as Y12. Okay, Y12 0 to 1 at 150 top. Okay, so you can see now this is bottom, this is top. Sorry for the it's raining out there. So we have this as bottom, that is for this reinforcement. We are talking about this reinforcement. So this reinforcement is the bottom, while this is for the top. So how do we calculate to know the number of this reinforcement and this one. So this, let's say this is A, this is B reinforcement. Okay, now for us to know the number of reinforcement for A is number of rebars. Okay, A is equal to, we have the total length, the length of, or the span. Okay, the span I mean the distance between this point to this point, and also the distance from this point to this point. That is the span. Okay, so span over the spacing. Okay, the spacing plus 1. Okay, so this is what we use to determine the number of reinforcement, that will span across this length. So for example, we have for A now, for us to determine A, we have it as 6,000, okay, divided by 150. This is 150, which is the spacing. 150 plus 1. So in this case, we have it as 40 lengths. 40 lengths. So this 40 now is for this reinforcement. So in this case, we now have 40 here. We now have 40 here. Alright? Then for the case of this other span, we can have it as number of rebars. Number of rebars for B is equal to the span over the spacing, okay, plus 1. Sorry, in this case, guys, here now, plus this one, it becomes 41. Okay, it becomes 41. Alright, it becomes 41. So here now, we have it as 3,000 divided by the spacing, which is 150. We have 150 plus 1. This is equal to this. We have 20 plus 1, which gives you 21. So this 21 becomes the number of rebars. So we have 21 here. Okay, we have 21. So this 21 now becomes the number of reinforcement that will span from this point to this point. Okay, in this case now it becomes, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 20. So that is what will cover this length. Then we have 41. We have 41. 41 will span from here to this point. That is how you distribute your bars. Okay, so I feel it necessary to come up with this topic for us to know how these reinforcements are being provided in our slab. Okay, please do well to like this video, share, comment, and most importantly, follow my page for more updates. Thank you very much, and do have a wonderful day.